Dynamite! How's it going, you guys and girls in the Illumination? Time to jump aboard the Loon Train. It's it's JJD, JJ Double J, the Illuminator here, the sweet one, also known by almost countless other aliases and nicknames. We won't get into that right now. One of my first jobs, I think it was my second job. This is about a year or two before I started my journey at Walmart, the old Wally World. I was working at a discount department store around here. I've done videos of it when I first started. And the location that I worked at isn't around anymore. They had knocked it down and built another store on top of it. It's now a supermarket, but it was called Ocean State Job Lot. Around here, they're all over New England. Started out, I believe, in Massachusetts, and worked into Rhode Island, Connecticut. It's in New Hampshire. I think it's even in Vermont now. I'm not sure about Maine, but anyway. There was this woman that, she was a Portuguese lady named Zelia, and everyone called her Z for short. She was about 5'5", but she probably weighed 100 pounds soaking wet. She was very thin. Nicest person you could ever meet, especially being a younger person that didn't have much experience when it came to customers or retail. You know, I used to work when I wasn't a backup cashier, which pretty much everyone that worked there, they taught how to use the registers, the cash registers. But I was about 22, 23. No, I had to be about 22, because when I was 23, I got hired at Walmart. So, actually, jeepers crow, no, I was younger than that. I was like 20. I was 20. Getting the years all mixed up here, but that's what happens when you get older, I guess. Long story short, I pretty much was responsible for putting out all of the cleaning supplies and paper products and stuff like that. And they got trucks every day, and you never knew what they were going to get in. There wasn't an actual spot on any of the shelves to put this stuff in. If you got something that you didn't have, you had to pretty much make it. You had to make it, yeah. You had to make room. Had to make it. Anyway, this woman Zelia, I didn't have a car at the time, and either my mother or my father would have to give me rides. I was considered part-time, even though I was probably working. Oops, keys almost fell out of my pocket. They fell on the chair. I was probably working about 30 hours a week. It was considered part-time, but she was really, really nice. And one time I didn't have a ride. I was going to walk home, which would have been probably about 1.5 miles to my house, give or take. Long story short, I know I keep saying that. She heard through the grapevine I was going to be walking home. She ended up, on the days that I didn't have rides, she ended up being my ride, and which, you know, as a younger kid and everything, she didn't have to do that. You know, there's some nice people around, and then there's some not so nice people around. But she would give me a ride home on the days that I didn't have rides. The funny thing about her car, it used to be a car that was used for student drivers, and on the passenger side of the front seat, there was a spot where there used to be a brake, which I never thought about that in you know, up until that point, that if you have a student driver that never drove before, it would help if the instructor did have a way to brake the car. That way there wouldn't be accidents and whatnot. But she was such a nice woman. After I ended up getting laid off, after about working there I was probably there for about 7 or 8 months. I ended up getting laid off after Christmas, and they never called me back. But that wasn't the end of my time in retail. Definitely with Wally World, not in the not too distant future from that. But that's a story for another day and another cup of coffee. But Zelia was a very nice person, and I don't know whatever happened. I lost touch with her when I left, but if she's still around, I'm hoping she's still a nice lady if she's still around. But sometimes there's just nice people in our lives, and it helps to think about those nice times. Anyway, say Laversky. I'm off to the races. I love you all. Stay safe. Have a good rest of the day. Be good to yourselves. This is the Illuminator, and I'll be back.
Well, how do you like that? He said the porridge was so good I would lick my bowl. And I did.